Hey, everybody. Not feeling too good in this right now. This is pretty uncomfortable. I also look like a fucking loser, but welcome in. This is the Three Wanks FPL podcast. Really excited to be here. Hope you guys had fun this week. I sure didn't. Fucking Semenyo. Did you guys have a blast, though?
I did not know we were going with a depressing opener. That was amazing.
I'm just speaking from the heart right now. I don't know what you're talking about, Sharpe.
I mean, I would feel that way too if I had a banana head on, but yeah, maybe you'll learn to drop your ridiculous bias against Bournemouth and join us over here on the happy side of things.
We're gonna spend some time on this podcast. I'm gonna wrestle with myself for 2 hours here, and we'll chat it through. So, yeah. I pay. You know what? I paid dearly. Hand up. I got it wrong. Semenyo's the second coming. I fucked up. Should have known. I was blinded by hate, as you said, and I paid dearly for it. So here we are. Big drop. I dropped from like 600K to 1.2 million, which feels bad, but also not that bad. I feel like it should have been worse. So I was mildly okay with that, but yeah, rough week. How are you guys doing?
I was going to let Mack. There we go.
Yeah, that's very kind of you to let me go. I'm good. I was the middle of the pack, which is not last this week. Not in the plunger, so I'm a happy camper, and I feel like the team did pretty well. I was completely wrong on the Tarkowski versus Richard thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that throughout the weekend. I was like, because you had texted the chat asking between those two, and I was like, yeah, easy, Richards. And then I saw like Tarkowski bonus points, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't expect Everton to win that game, first of all. I just thought Palace would crush them. And then I was texting these guys offline, and I was like, all right, there's no way Tarkowski can be a better pick than Richards. I got that one wrong, but other than that, I'm happy. I should not have brought Tarkowski in now. I'm just a hater. I'm never going to play him.
Dude, DEFCON is ruining this fucking game. I've said it before. I'll say it again.
Get off your high horse. I don't want to hear it. DEFCONs make it a little more fun for those in the back ends.
It's so boring. Like, I saw a tweet today that was like, it was like, how are you picking DEFCONs? And someone was like, I just look for the most boring player on the pitch, and then I'm like, yep, that's the one, and I buy them. And I was like, that's so accurate.
I mean, sure, but it allows us to not buy the most expensive defenders and still come away with solid hauls. So I think it adds a little versatility to the game.
I think that though is more so an issue in pricing. Like, I think they just fucked up. Like someone like a Senesi, obviously last year he didn't have DEFCON, so no crystal ball. But like someone like a Senesi is just like underpriced. And next year, I think you'll see like
I'm sorry, I'm totally interrupting you. I was going to agree. All of the best DEFCON defenders are underpriced right now.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, you say that now, Sharpe, but I'm saying like next year it's going to be like Gabriel is going to be 6.0, and then also Tarkowski is going to be 6.0, and so is Senesi. Like, so then it's just like, what are we doing? How are those two the same?
I don't know why you're so worried about next year when they change it up every year. Let's focus on the now. Let's enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
Hopefully they get rid of it next year.
Hopefully they don't change anything next year. I want a year of stability.
Yeah,
just leave it alone. Nice.
How are you doing, Sharpe? You obviously saved yourself for last.
Oh, well, I thought I answered when we started, but I'm feeling good. It was just the depressing intro that really caught me off guard. I loved it though. It was awesome.
Fair. Well,
no, I mean,
go ahead.
Wow, you missed a week and we're just off our mojo. I don't know. That's what I'm blaming right now.
Fair
We're
enough.
out of form. We got to get some of that cohesion.
Yeah,
new manager rounds.
We're like Manchester United right now.
We are not that bad.
Hey, that's right. That's what we have the IB for. Get it back. We're fine.
Get it back, baby.
Get back to training. No, I'm good though. I mean, obviously top of us three, not by much over Mack, but happy with that. Good performance. Had guys that hold, certainly have some room on the defense to improve, and did have a benching error, but overall pretty happy. So
yeah, this was a weekend where I just had to constantly keep being like, well, got to tip my cap to Sharpe, because every player that I'd see like the goal alert, or I'd be watching a game and see a player score and be like, Sharpe has him. Yep. Sharpe has him too. Fuck. It's just which is I don't remember where you ended up in game week rank, but I was certain that you were going to be like top 100K. And so I was surprised you were still in the millions or something. And I was genuinely shocked by that, which made me be like, all right, what was the team of the week this week then? You know what I mean? Like what were the good players? Because that didn't track for me.
This was a weird week just on that. I looked at the team of the week and there was nothing crazy. It was like Rice and Truffert were maybe some oddball picks, but other than that, it was like a pretty standard lineup of like Timber, Caicedo, Gakpo, Semenyo captain, and a bench boost. It was like a not unusual team. Very interesting. Not a weird one.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I went wrong on the defensive side of things. I think there were a few defenders out there that were pretty common picks that got in the high single digits to 10 to 11 points, and I was rocking 2 solo points at the back. So that's what got me.
Yeah. Well, we got to have a little bit of that flows nicely into, we got to have a little bit of in-person FPL discussion this week over a couple of beers. And that was mostly just me trying to convince you to come over to my side of the wildcard fence, which was my advice was either wildcard 7 and get your Arsenal boys out of the way, or just wait to wildcard. And we can continue that conversation here. But I do think, I would assume that's one of the failings is like not having the double Arsenal defense probably burned you a little bit. But outside of that, I mean, obviously all like the benefit of not having wildcarded and not having gone into the template is that a couple of the guys who returned for you, like Kudus, like not a lot of people had him.
Which is crazy to me. I don't know. Do you have the teams? Do you want to throw teams up and go through how we're feeling and kind of discuss those fellas?
Yeah. I guess we can start with you since you're on the mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we'll talk about the good players, and then we'll get to the guys on your team. So that makes sense.
Sorry, I got to go to points and your team here. Yeah. All right. How's that look?
I mean, it could be better, but I'm not mad about it.
What was the total points for you, Sharpe?
76.
So yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, I was almost 2 million still.
This is a team of the week. Just curious.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's where it burned me. Look at that back line.
Yeah. So Vardy, Timber, Burn, Van Heck. Yeah.
I mean, just a crazy week, like with like Malin too. But
yeah,
it's not one of those.
Was the one game. Yeah, no, I mean, that was the one game. He's the one that pissed me off the most because I believe I was quoted and said it more than once of, yeah, I'll put Dubrovka and a Steve back there, and when they give up a goal, it's going to be to Watkins, so I'm still going to profit off it, and I'll be fine. They
just got the worst of all worlds. That's so brutal.
Just got bent over with no lube, so that was great. But no, I mean, overall, like I said, not mad at this team. The goalie situation didn't really matter who I ended up picking, obviously, with 2-2. That is something looking forward that I want to fix and see what I can do differently. I have some plans, I have some ideas, but we'll see. Van Dijk, I mean, I've obviously been high on them. I've had the Liverpool bias. That's not a surprise, but I got to get him out. He's got to go. I can't have 6 million.
You think? I was actually looking at him, but later.
Yeah, it's just like I don't necessarily disagree with you, Sharpe.
United's going to score a lot. We're probably going to give up to Villa. We're probably going to give City one. Knowing us, we're going to give fucking Forest one.
Yeah.
So
okay, I see. Yeah. But would you go to someone cheaper, or like what would be your play?
My target right now, if I'm looking at the back line, Timber is up there as a big target. Obviously, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. But I don't have Senesi either. That's probably where Milinkovic is going to go, to be fair. And then I'm looking at Burn over at Newcastle, or getting in cheap Leeds guys for Steve or Wan-Bissaka. Or even, honestly, I think in my last wildcard that I sent you guys, I've been toying around with wildcards for the viewers. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Don't know if I will. But I did leave Wan-Bissaka in there just because if West Ham have figured it out a little bit, and if they do solidify their defense, I don't think he's a bad pick at 4-3. So that's... Overall vision still needs to help. Gabriel, I want to leave in there. Then it's Calafiori or Timber. Then I want Newcastle, whether it be Dan Burn or whoever else I bring in there. And then I'm looking at Senesi and or cheap options.
Yeah. Dude, I texted you guys this, but I think Gabriel has now solidified himself as the best pick in the game, or at least best defender in the game.
Dude, I think it's
like... Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm like I agree with you, but I think it's so funny. 2 weeks ago we were on here like, oh yeah, I had Saliba. I'd be so much happier.
Maybe
Saliba.
Saliba. Yeah. Well, now Saliba's like of the Arsenal defenders might be the worst one to own, which sucks for me. But I mean, yeah, Gabriel. The reason I say that is obviously he's scored, so you still have that goal threat that he has. Arsenal have insane fixture run for clean sheets and are just insane defensively. But now suddenly he's also a DEFCON monster. It's like this is exactly what, truthfully, like what Van Dijk was supposed to be going into the season if Liverpool were a little bit tighter defensively. So, yeah, that's set and forget. If you don't have him, absolute priority to get him in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think just to touch on Van Dijk too, with the defensive issues, I believe Konate just got a little knock, and Alisson's obviously out for a while. So that entire defense is going to be a huge question mark because Alisson is just obviously a top tier goalie in the world.
So you'll have to play your $35 million backup.
Hey, from an FPL perspective, I'm just saying if we're already giving up goals, it's not a great sign.
Well, if we're judging Liverpool based on the amount of money they spend on their players, I don't think that's an accurate way to figure that out because they're all doing pretty dog shit right about now.
It's fair. But
I think Ekitike is just fine.
But he's not the big money spender. That'd be Isak or Wirtz, your boy.
My boy, God, that guy. I saw the German manager said something today. I didn't read it because it made me mad, but I think he was defending him.
Brutal. Well, yeah, I mean, you brought in Woltemade this week, which not only ended up being a good pick in the sense of obviously he scored. It was interesting. He took a pen after Gordon came off, so it'd be curious to see like if that happened and Gordon hadn't come off yet. I'm assuming Gordon would have taken it, but maybe not.
Did you see how pretty it was, though? I mean, up 90.
Dude, I did. That was insane. That's a ballsy. I would never take that penalty. I respect to him, though. That's so crazy. But not only that, but also Wissa's apparently had a setback in his injury. So Woltemade looks to be, nailed in that team a little bit longer. So, yeah, props to you.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I think it was kind of funny because I brought him in as a possible 1 week punt to see if I do wild card this week to even want him. But I mean, Newcastle have great fixtures, and with the Wissa setback, I'm like, he's just gonna stay there. Like, I have no reason to turn him into anyone new.
No, it's a good pick. Good pickup.
Yeah, and then
let's go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, I think we're going the same place. I'm looking at the two guys dead center in my team.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. No, I mean, Semenyo is him. I don't know how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man, but eventually you're gonna learn it. And his goals were, I mean, that little run with like,
he played amazing. That game was he looked incredible, and it was just a dagger to my heart every time he did something. And I was like, I left the room at one point, and that was when Kluivert scored, and I was like, oh, thank God it wasn't Semenyo. And then I saw that he assisted, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. Cool.
And then the drop off on the end on the runaway was just like, I hope it was salt in the wounds because that was crazy,
dude. So brutal. This was also one where I was like, cool. So now I was looking at players in my lineup who are like differentials, like Cunha, and being like, okay, so now they just have to score like a hat trick. Cool, that sounds easy. Cunha doesn't even start. So yeah, we were on fire this weekend.
I think Semenyo is interesting, and Senesi. I guess we can lump them together because if you want to click on them, I don't recall their fixtures being like,
no,
yeah, like those are tough. I mean,
Forest is a money fixture, but outside of that, tough for sure. Or at least the next four. So, okay, I was going to get into this later, but this is a good opportunity. So I'm obviously in a scenario where I texted you guys earlier this week or a couple days ago and was like, I'm a crack addict. Think of me like a crack addict and just tell me. I'm going to try to convince you guys for me to not get Semenyo. Just tell me to get him this week. And that may still be true, but it feels like, so hand up. He's a good pick. Like, no longer am I on the train of he's not a good pick. But he is the number one overperformer so far this season for goals and assists. Like, by far, too. I think you can probably see it here. His XGI, no. God, it's so much harder on here. So his XGI on the whole is 4, but he actually has 6 goals and 3 assists. So he should have, based on his underlyings, 3.5 goals, 0.4 assists, and he has 6 goals and 3 assists. So that's one piece of it. But the eye test watching that game, he was just off the chain. Like, that's a player that you're like, he's just hot right now. You got to get him in. That being said, for me, it would be a fixture or like somebody to bring in this week. And Palace feels like the one fixture where you might sit there and be like, does it really make sense?
My quick counter argument, click out of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at my bench. Yeah, let's see. Oh, that's the one. That guy right there. Yeah. So I would like to say that my boy, I bench because I felt the same way, and he returns, and he's on my bench.
But it was
I was all worried about Palace. However, Everton
that is and Dye got it on a pen though, and he's like for sure the pen guy. Semenyo is maybe the pen guy. I think maybe
Go back to the history. Yeah. So what was the final score? I guess it doesn't have it, but they scored twice. Like they still gave up to Everton, and I'm not saying Everton's terrible, but like Semenyo has been playing really well.
I agree, and I think that's a good call out. And that was my thinking when I texted you guys. Is I was like, for a few weeks now, Mack's prediction of like eventually, this Palace squad is thin, and eventually the wheels are going to fall off for these guys. Like that was ringing in my ears, and I was like, okay, this is the first sign. Like they just shipped 2 goals to Everton. This is it. This is the moment. Like, just get Semenyo. Don't overthink it. Just get him, right? But I went back and watched the highlights again of that game today, and Palace dominated that whole game. And then it late in the game is when they gave up the pen, and that's when it evened up to 1-1. And then at the end, it was just like a barrage in the last like 5 minutes from Everton, and they ended up scoring. Point being, like, actually looking at that game, Palace still dominated. So I almost feel like it's an outlier. And I would say as well, now you have the international break. They have a couple weeks to, if they are tired and they are thin, they have a couple weeks to kind of catch their breath before they play Bournemouth. So look, it may still be the right play to get Semenyo, and I'm not like, that's definitely still on my mind. But again, it just feels like on paper, getting in Semenyo versus arguably probably the second best defense so far this season feels like a weird time to get him. Obviously, you can still get him once he has like Forest. After this is a money fixture, and I'd be hard pressed not to have him for that game. But it does feel weird to be bringing him in this week.
I just don't know what you're waiting for is the thing. Like, bring up your team instead. Why don't let's look at
He wants to sit on Cunha for another week.
No,
I know, right? Like,
no. I got you. Like, hang on. No, I do not want Cunha. I want Cunha out of my team. So, like, to that point, going directly Cunha to Semenyo makes perfect sense. Like, I'm totally with you guys on that. But if you look at my team going into next week, like, I can just bench Cunha, and there's plenty of players I'm happy to play, right? Look at this defense. Everybody's playing somebody that I'm happy to play them against. And the real reason to potentially not make this move and roll is that my plan on paper in 9 has been to do bringing in Salah or some sort of a Liverpool pick, right? And so I'll probably need 2 transfers to do that. Let's say I wanted to do Haaland down to somebody else, and like Bowen, and then I wanted to do Cunha up to Salah. Then I'm going to need the 2 transfers to be able to make that move. And so potentially rolling this week. So here's my thought process with that. I roll this week, I skip Semenyo against Palace, and then I bring him in against Nottingham Forest regardless if he's just continues on his current streak, or I'm like, okay, they finally come alive against United, and we're like, all right, it's time to go on Liverpool, and I can make that switch. That's the thought process.
You are a crack addict. This is wild. Yeah. I am watching you just run as fast as fast away as possible from like what is clearly and has clearly been the best choice for a couple weeks now. Let me teach you a lesson.
I agree with you, but hang on, like, Luke, what do you think Semenyo is going to do against Palace? Like, what do you think they're going to do? What he's going to do against Palace?
I don't disagree with that at all, right? Like, but by that argument, I have 2 thoughts. One, is Richards versus Bournemouth a better pick than Semenyo versus Palace?
Sure.
Like, 2, is a Steve versus Leeds a better pick than Semenyo versus Palace?
It's not that. It's more so the rolled transfer. That's the opportunity cost. Is like that I might not be able to get to somebody else.
But if you are going to bring him in against Forest, like, arguably the next 4 are the tough part for Semenyo, and then you want him
right
for after that, because immediately following that they're going to play West Ham, Sunderland, Everton.
Well, and that's in theory that's when I'm wildcarding, so I wouldn't miss him for that run. But
all you're doing is losing value on him if you're clearly going to want to pick him up in the future. And let me
Correct.
tell you a story. We're going to go back to last season. I was a Chris Wood hater. He never entered my team once.
Sure.
Because the underlying data wasn't there. And you know what? He just kept performing, right? And I was just stubborn and I dug in for no reason, and it punished me the entire season. And even if Semenyo does fall up, he's scoring now.
I hear you, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not trying to come in here and be like, no, Semenyo's shit. Like, he's overperforming. Like, he won't keep this up. Like, that's not my point. Hand up. He is the second coming. He is Jesus Christ in this form. Got you there. But he's playing like, let me change it for you. What if he was playing Arsenal this week? Would you still tell me to bring him in?
I think I would, because like, what is the alternative? That you keep Acuna or have to play in a Steve?
Like, I do think, so let's say I bring in Semenyo and I want to put him in. I do think I'm going to be hard pressed to pull somebody out of this lineup. Like, looking at my defenders, I do want to play a Steve versus Leeds. I do want to play Richards versus Bournemouth. I do want to play Pedro Porro.
I just played Tottenham really hard, and Burnley are the worst defense in the game.
Yeah, I guess they're playing. I still would take them playing Leeds, though.
Why? What do you think they're going to score? Like, what do you think when we get out of?
I mean, they kept it clean against Sunderland.
What do you think of Steve's stat is going to be? What do you think his scoreline is?
6-8 points.
I think that's a little crazy, but okay.
So they keep it clean. He gets DEFCON. That's 8. That's not that crazy.
Sure. Yeah. Just say it like that and it's going to happen. Right.
I mean, they're playing lead. Fair enough. All right. You guys made your point. Fair enough.
I don't think anything
you've warned me.
I don't think anything you said is a bad argument. I
think you took too much Tylenol.
This is a game of the whole point of this game is getting assets before other people, and if you've missed the train, it doesn't make them not a good asset.
So
right?
No, but the point of this game is also not to overreact to not to get on someone late, right? It's supposed to be to find the other pick first, right? So I'm worried that this is a scenario where Semenyo just scored 18. Everyone and their mother's going to go get him. He's playing Palace. He blanks. He drops in value, and then I have a Joao Pedro situation, right? Like, I got Joao Pedro because everyone owned him and he was killing me every week, and I was like, fuck, I need that guy. Since then, he's done absolutely nothing, right? It's the same type of vibe where I'm like, why would I buy him before Palace? That just feels like a blank. Like, that feels like a...
That's what I did with Chris Wood the entire last season, so I understand where you're coming from. Sure. I just think that if you're going to want him, like, it's not a good pick. You expect them to blank periodically, right? Even Haaland does it.
I will say, I think if Semenyo was going to rise again before the deadline, I'd probably just bring him in. But if he doesn't rise before the deadline again, then I'd be potentially comfortable with just rolling. Like, I don't know. I'm on the fence about this. This is the conundrum. But like the other alternative is we have the next few fixtures, right? Looking at like the next 5. Chelsea have just an unbelievable run. Forest, Sunderland, Tottenham, Wolves, and Burnley. So the alternative is, and this is more the like long term, and this is where it's probably stupid, but I could just bring in like an Enzo Fernandez, and then next week be like, assuming Salah and Liverpool don't pop up, then I just do like Bruno to Semenyo. Point being, like, I just feel like picking a player right before the second best defense in the league feels dumb. I'm not saying he's bad or he's not going to return more often than not, but that just feels silly, no? And then otherwise, I could pick a player that's going to play against Forest, who we just talked about is the second worst defense in the league.
This is a fair point in isolation. I'm not going to say Enzo Fernandez is guaranteed to score by any means. But like, you're not making an invalid argument when you're saying that it doesn't make sense to pick him up against Palace, right? Palace is a really good team this season. I just don't think it makes sense to wait in this case either. He's not like a speculative pick right now, and I think that you can argue that the next 4 is hard, but Forest is an easier pick fixture, then it is right there. And I think we all agree Villa is too. So realistically, he's only a bad pick in 2 out of the next 4 weeks.
So again, if I don't get him this week, then I just get him next week against Forest, and I don't miss those fixtures. I agree with you.
Enough.
I think he could return in all 3 of those games: Forest, Villa.
Yes, just to convince you. We're just we're fulfilling our duty.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think Newcastle's defense is worse than Palace's?
I certainly do not.
Do you think Newcastle's
or sorry, than Palace's? Sorry, I thought you said Forest. I think they're probably about on par.
Okay.
I think Newcastle is probably a little bit worse, but I think they're pretty close.
All right, fair enough. He still got 5 in that game.
That was DEFCONs, dude.
Who cares? You're right. He's a multifaceted player. He doesn't have to score. I agree. You're correct.
All right, let's look at his DEFCONs.
I just appreciate that we are going to see the banana hat a lot more often.
He's only got DEFCONs once the entire season. Like, he's not a DEFCON pick. I hear. Okay, so hey, hang on. Here's the one thing I was looking at right before I got on the pod that was swaying me a little bit. So keep these numbers in mind. Total XG 3.6, total XA 0.4, total XGI 4.0.
I don't care about your bullshit analytics. They already ruined baseball. I don't.
This is
whatever.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. This is Enzo Fernandez. Total XG 3.8, 0.5 XA, and 4.3 XGI. Little higher, and look at his fucking run. He's about to play Forest, Sunderland, Tottenham, Wolves, and Burnley.
Like, go for it.
Okay.
I agree. He's a good pick, by the way. I like the Enzo Fernandez pick. I have Caicedo, and I'm kind of wishing I had Fernandez. Look, you're not making bad points. This might not actually be the week to pick him up, and if he doesn't rise, peace, right? It's just that I think if you're talking about upside, Semenyo has the highest upside of any of these guys, and the downside is like he gets 2 points, which is the same as if Steve doesn't keep it clean and gets DEFCONs.
Sure.
Like, Semenyo's just a good pick right now. I don't think people are going to ask blanks against Palace. Yeah. I know your argument is you don't have to get him this week.
I could just get him next week. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I'm not going to get Semenyo. I'm just saying maybe I wait a week. That's not the craziest thing.
Believe you is the problem.
No, that's
this
fair.
This is like a terrible ex-girlfriend situation.
It's actually, yeah. It's more like
it's the opposite.
Why don't you tell us about that, Sharpe? What would you do in that situation?
To be fair, that is a pretty similar. You get close to it and then you run the other way.
All right, Mack, take us through your squad.
On that bombshell, how can I even focus? I don't know. Not a ton to say we haven't already discussed. I lost the Tarkowski bait, and I should have fucking bench boosted. Why do I listen to you, knuckleheads? The same guy who's convincing me not to get Semenyo, I didn't listen to. I could have rubbed in your face when my bench boost beat your triple captain. I'm fucking mad that I didn't just listen to myself. Like, I would have gotten 20 points off my bench. I could have been like, hold that fat fucking L. My bench boost beat your triple captain. And I didn't. And I'm an idiot. But aside from that, it was a good week. 71 points, not wearing the plunger. A little bit of a rise in the game week. And I feel like I'm set up decently well for next week. I do have some like benching concerns next week because Fernandez plays Liverpool, but then both my Everton boys play City and Anderson plays Arsenal. So in that regard, it's a little tricky. There's also a lot of Bournemouth players playing Crystal Palace and even City's playing Everton. So I already said that. But so I don't think next week's going to be a very high upside week.
I think we have to rewrite our brains though on Everton because I just don't think they're the same defensive team they used to be. Like, you can still get returns against Everton.
No, that's why I want to bench both of them.
Oh yeah, fair. Okay.
No, I'm concerned about them. I don't want to play them.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, but so I don't know. I don't have a lot to report because I have all of the guys that everybody has. And I just have like a strange team for next week. Like, it feels like a 40-pointer is going to land on my lap.
Are you at all tempted to sell Bruno?
I don't think it's a if question, more of a when question.
Sure.
And I kind of picked him up on my wild card because I was like, there's no one really performing. He's just a money sponge to unlock an easy move later on. Like, having 9 million contained into one player makes him so easy to move on and get somebody better, because then it's only 2 transfers really. The problem is it's like I just don't know really who I would go for, and his fixtures, I mean, I'm not even gonna say they really like turn. They like don't turn that much, right? I don't look at a single one of these, including Everton, that I'm like confident they could win, right? But I don't know who to go to. The transfers that I considered was like trying to get in like a Newcastle guy or like maybe a Gordon, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess maybe can we pull up a Newcastle guy or just to see their fixtures, because I think
for sure.
Newcastle and Chelsea, yeah, that's perfect. Newcastle and Chelsea to me are ones that I kind of want to target moving forward.
Yeah. I said a couple weeks ago that Newcastle was popping off, but it didn't make sense to get them until the fixtures turned.
Sure.
And now they're turning. Like there's a possibility, provided I don't get, I think I might have already been priced out of it because I think Joao Pedro might have fallen, but I could have gone, no, that doesn't make any sense. I can still do it. I could do Gyökeres, Fernandez out for, it's a 3-way move. What was it for, like Saka? Who am I blanking on? Voltermaid and Gordon. So Caicedo out as well. But I don't necessarily want to lose the Chelsea guy.
Caicedo is an interesting one where DEFCON, cheap, totally get that stuff, but the goals seem new, you know? Like it seems a little random. I'm like, is he a goal guy now, or is this just like a little bit of a he's hit a couple of lucky spots and he might not be the guy? Because I think in theory, looking at him versus Enzo, I'm more tempted to go there, especially if Palmer's out, obviously depending, but I don't know. I hear you on not getting rid of him, but I also like if he does just go back to being a DEFCON player, I don't know then if DEFCON will do so well against teams like Sunderland, Wolves, Burnley, but he's also just kind of a monster. So maybe
I think Fernandez is a better pick. When I wildcarded in 6, I wouldn't say Fernandez was as much of a stand-up pick at that point, but now I think if you have the opportunity, I'd go for Fernandez.
Yeah.
I also think that Caicedo scored like 3 goals this season or something like that. In his entire career leading up to this, he scored like 3 goals. So I even said when I picked him up on wildcard, I'm not picking him up for the goal, and I just think it's a fluke that he's gotten a couple good ones.
Yeah. He's never scored more than 1 goal in a season, and he's already at 3. That's wild. Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Not. He's probably fine against like a Forest, but I just don't see the goals being crazy.
While we're on the topic of Chelsea, we all 3 have Joao Pedro. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You got rid of him for Voltermaid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, Mac, what are your thoughts on Joao Pedro then? How are you sitting with him?
I don't understand how people can transfer him out with the fixture run. Like, are you telling me that Chelsea isn't going to score against Forest, Sunderland,
right,
Wolves, Burnley, Leeds, or Everton in the next 9?
I agree. I think it's just a question now of like without Palmer there, it's hard to predict where that's coming from. And it's not certain it's going to be Joao Pedro, but
it's a fair point. But like, and he hasn't even had good stats, right? So I'm kind of doing an opposite of
when I was talking about overperformers, he's the second highest overperformer this season behind
right.
Semenyo.
And like Chelsea just hasn't been like a functioning team in general. Like even some of the crazy Chelsea fans who are overreacting a little bit are like starting to call for the coach to be out, and it's like not great at Chelsea right now. But that doesn't. I'm not convinced enough to transfer in anybody else in his place. Right? If I was going to get rid of anybody, I think I'd prioritize switching Gyökeres out for somebody over Joao Pedro just because the fixtures are so good. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's another one that I think is worth talking about coming out of the weekend is Arsenal and Gyökeres. Like Sharpe, you and I talked about in person. I was like, what is your prediction for the scoreline of that Arsenal West Ham game? Ended up being 2-0. You said 1-0. So I think that was about right. Obviously, defensively, they are just so solid, and that's not going to change probably. But I'm not. Yeah, it sucked that Gyökeres blanked and and that now Saka, I guess, takes the pens. But he had so many, like the ball went to him so many times. I really felt like it was just one of those where, I mean, like, I still think he kind of sucks, but I'm also like, the ball is getting to him enough that over the next few, I'd be surprised if he doesn't bag a couple. So I'm not like, as much as I'm annoyed that he blanked, I'm like not that worried. I don't know. Do you guys feel any differently?
No.
No, I don't. I don't really want him as someone who doesn't have him currently. He's not like the third Arsenal guy that I'm going to prioritize.
Right.
So that's what I would say. And I'm going to go after, I think I sent you guys Saka instead as my third and 2 defenders. But he just doesn't excite me. He's going to be the guy that I'm cheering against every week is what I've decided. And I'm okay with that. I've accepted that. I think
that's an easy guy to cheer against. Yeah.
I think I'm going to win that more than I'm not. So
I agree. I agree. I think it's interesting though. Like if you weren't going to wild card, would that be your priority? Would be to go for somebody like Saka? Or I feel like with West Ham out of the way, you actually have a couple weeks where you might be able to just kind of chill on that in terms of, try to prioritize maybe Arsenal defense. I think at this point, looking ahead at their fixtures, having 2 of those guys is pretty essential. But the attackers, you might be able to wait. Yeah.
And I feel confident in my attack right now. So to me, it's the back line that needs the most help, which is ironic given that I feel like my back line was the only thing that was good last year. And I'm such a proponent of DEFCONs that is what is now lacking in my world. So I think that's something to fix.
For sure. All right. So we've touched on Arsenal a little bit. I think the only other question I had out of there is, go ahead.
If you're going to go Arsenal, go for it. But I had another question about JP and what's going on over there.
I was just going to say Timber. Like I noticed when you sent over your wildcard draft, and obviously when you're talking about your targets going Timber, I think this might be just like my last season brain not plugging in my head, I'm still looking at not the center backs of Arsenal being like, they're going to rotate soon. Right. And obviously that's coming from the guy who bought Saliba and then he got benched in the first game I had him. So, who's to say, but he definitely has the attacking threat. He even DEFCON this weekend. So I think it's just like, it kind of seems like an obvious auto pick, but I'm always just in the back of my mind, like, isn't Ben White coming in sometime soon? So I'm curious to see how that one plays out. But I also think if I was in the position of wild carding, I probably would just go Timber.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like a no-brainer with the form that he's in and the points that he's putting out that you got to go with one of them. And I feel like I don't know, he's just a more popular name, I think, that's out there. Yeah. And I think he'll be more consistent. So
sure,
I'm not scared by it by any means.
All right, sorry, hit me with the JP.
No, you guys, I agree with you that we're like, okay, where are the goals going to come from? Yes, I agree they're going to score. Who's going to do it? Feels like the same thing we could say about Liverpool. I think the one caveat is that Liverpool's assets are all more expensive, so it's a little harder to make pull the trigger on that. I think that's fair, but I think it's the same thing that's scaring me from taking a lot of Chelsea players because I'm not I don't want to go back to JP. Honestly, I don't feel that confident in him.
Yeah,
but JP is not priced like a luxury player. Is the thing. I think if you have an Isak, he needs to be performing to justify his price. Even if you have an Ekitike, he's still more expensive than JP. If JP blanks, it's like, all right, that sucks. You're even losing value on my team, but it's not a money hog that's also not performing. Same with Caicedo. If Caicedo gets me 2 points, well, that's the same thing that Reinders has been doing, or even Fernandez, right? So I don't know. I don't think that JP. I hear you on that, but I'm just he's not quite as big of a deal as a Liverpool player. I think you can afford to sit on a lower priced, mid-priced guy.
I do think that being said, you might be taking over the profit moniker Sharpe with the Voltamade pick, just because he's a little bit cheaper, and over the next few weeks, like we were pointing out, he's also got good fixtures. A little less so than Chelsea, but Brighton, Fulham, West Ham, Brentford, that feels pretty good. And he's been scoring. He's just been doing the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys on the difference in price and money sink. I guess I would rather look at it from but can I get someone else that I know is going to contribute or I know is central versus still taking a risk on an Enzo or on a JP or whatever. To me, Caicedo even feels a little more safe. Obviously, lower money, but then DEFCON possibility with him versus the other guys. Yeah. So I hear you, though. I hear where you're at.
Can we talk about, while we're on the subject then, of that game, Liverpool in general? Because I think
I don't want to.
in. Fair. We'll move it right. All right, moving right along then. I think this is the interesting thing with Wildcard 8. Obviously, this is what Mack and I were talking about, and I know he tweeted this out, but the whole wildcard thing, I'm starting to like look at it from a larger perspective view, which is at some point here, we're going to have to shift structure. And I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if it's like Liverpool get going and Isak looks like the pick, or Liverpool get going and Salah looks like the pick, or Cole Palmer comes back and he looks good, or it's like, no, Saka is an absolute priority. He's the dog. I don't know what that is, but I just feel like we're not quite there yet. And I think the whole Wildcard 8 thing, the idea was supposed to be that by 8, okay, you'll have a better idea of how Liverpool are performing and who you should go for there. But I'm still just as confused as I was after game week 1. So I'm curious. Honestly, you know who looked okay, who had that nasty little assist or like assist attempt, was Wirtz. He actually looked all right in this game. But I don't know. Yeah. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? I feel like if you're not changing up your structure drastically, or in like Mack's case in 6, your team is just really far behind the template, it seems like a little bit of a rush. But all that to say, I'm curious, Sharpe, what your takes are on if you were going to go with some Liverpool guys and we're going to say, hey, we're betting on them playing United this week and they're going to put a couple of goals away, which direction you would go?
Dude, it's so hard because I truly would not recommend anyone to pick any Liverpool assets at this point. I don't trust anyone. And the only person that maybe you could say will return is Salah, but I'm not putting 14.5 or 14.4 on that now. So I would highly recommend to stay completely away. If you need a cheap goalie with Alisson out, sure, go there. And Marmaduke himself could be an option. But I would stay away. The weird, and we've talked about him a few times, if you want someone that's going to give you points and maybe be involved in some sort of an assist, Gravenberch.
Yeah.
He's a cheap option.
Funny. I literally looked at him for, like, as you had him on the screen, because I was looking at him on my wild card.
Is he DEFCONing every week?
Not even really. Like, he's gotten it in 2 games.
Interesting.
And that was against Crystal Palace and Everton. Didn't get it in Chelsea.
I don't think he got it in Palace because he only got 11. So yeah, he's got 1 time. That's brutal.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's 12 for mids. My bad.
He feels like, I know they're not the same player, but he feels very Caicedo-y to me. Where I'm like,
sure,
if we're going for that guy, like I'd rather just get like Elliot Anderson or somebody who's cheap and shitty, and I know is going to get it. I guess Caicedo and Elliot Anderson are the same price, so
that's why I picked Caicedo. I'm like, he's just on a better team. If he's not going to perform,
and I would actually, now that I'm saying that, I guess a little touch on Nottingham Forest, but Jesus fucking Christ, stay away from that team with the 10-foot.
You were trying to convince us to get Elliot Anderson last week, and I was like, don't do it.
Dude, so that game, I think Newcastle put up like 3 XG on them. It was insane. They just racked that shit up.
Everything I said last week was 100% accurate. I lived the Ange experience, my man. I was like, Newcastle. I think Newcastle could have had like 5 on that.
They put 3.45 XG. I cannot tell you the last time I saw a total that big. That's so huge. Crazy. Yeah, they're fucked. I kind of
fired. It's crazy.
I know. I kind of love the idea of that though, because I don't really. I'm new to the Marinakis hate, but like. I kind of want him to have to pay for pissing Nuno off enough to make him leave. Like, I'm like, all right,
dude, what did you do? Who has he not made an enemy out of? Like, seriously, he pissed off the Palace fans because he like got them kicked out of Europe. It's amazing what a team like, and Palace is like crushing it. It's like, wow, a team that deserves to be in the competition that they are not in is playing well. Surprise, surprise. He's pissed off the Spurs fans because of the fucking more Gibbs White situation over the summer. He's pissed off the Forest fans by appointing Ange. So like, who's not against this guy at this point?
Yeah. Well, and now we're just on the Operation Target Forest hardcore. It's just like, all right, because now, like, for example, I've talked a lot on this about Wildcard 13, and now suddenly I'm kind of looking at Wildcard 12, if anything, because the fixtures, a lot of them switch to people playing Forest. I'm trying to pull it up. So Liverpool start playing Forest in 12. So to the point of like, you don't know what Liverpool picks to get. Maybe by then we'll have the clarity and you can go into that beautiful run. And then you have Chelsea playing Burnley. You have United playing Everton, Villa playing Leeds, like all these nice little matchups. But Jesus, Forest, you look like fucking like it's every week. I'm just like, all right, who are they playing? Now suddenly I'm trying to switch my brain again from like, oh, that's a tough defensive fixture to just, all right, move it along. Crystal Palace is the new Forest. Forest is the new West Ham. West Ham is the new promoted team. We're good to go. It's just a perfect little cycle that we've made there.
Yeah, it's a little hard to, after how high they rose, to like be like Forest isn't good, but objectively they have not been.
It's so tough. I don't know how they're going to turn it around. Yeah, absolutely brutal. All right, so we talked about Everton Palace. We talked about Newcastle Forest. I guess let's talk really briefly about United's win. So they do keep it clean. They do score 2. Bruno hit the bar at one point. Bumo assist, big for FPL Vibes FC. Cunha doesn't start, and it goes well. So I'm assuming he probably will continue to not start. I don't know. Anything worth noting there of like, did that make you more encouraged about United, or do you feel pretty much the same?
I feel the same about them. Like nothing's gonna change. I think they're fine. I think the 3 players you can target are fine. Sesko and Mount. Yeah, I don't think you can pick because you just don't know anything.
So then, who's the third? Bruno, Bumo, and
yeah, no, that's fair. I would get rid of Bruno. So you're right. Let's narrow that down to 2. That's a good call.
I think I've been very clear about what my fuck ups have been this year. It's been Cunha. It's been Semenyo, and it's been Kudus. Those are the ones that I'm like, all right, so missed on all those, paying for all those every goddamn week.
But I think it's the same where they're going to be a decent attacking team and get a goal or 2, and they might not win a game. They're going to let up those. So I'm not really like pumped about them, but I'm going to hold Bumo. And the next time I need to get to a slightly more expensive, so if I need to get to a Saka, he's going to be the one to go because he's 1.8 away and I can make that up somewhere.
That's why I've held on to Bruno. That's what I was saying earlier. He's just a money sponge, You can just hold on to him. So as we get clarity maybe on a Salah, as we get clarity on if Saka is going to be that guy again, like you said, if Palmer comes back, he's an easy move.
Yeah. Mine just doesn't miss pins.
Yeah. Jesus
That's insane,
Christ,
dude.
So bad. Who does score every time he touches the ball is Mr. One Shot, One Goal, Erling Haaland. So funny. Watching that game, scores right off the bat. You're like, and it was a beautiful goal. Just bodied the defender. So sick. But then you never saw him again the rest of the game. Just scored his goal and went on his merry way. What a ridiculous player. What a character. I am like meta wise, I'm really curious when this City, or really when this Haaland run drops off, because it's not going to stay at this level. So it's insane right now, but yeah.
And then he broke the Premier League single season goal scoring record.
Dude, maybe he's just trying to figure out who's the GOAT.
I would like to go on note that I hate him. I hate having him in my team, but I could not continue cheering against him from an FPL perspective. Yeah, like some of us learn from pain, Luke. Some of us learn.
I'm trying. It's really hard. You guys, you know what? You guys are doing your job. I appreciate that. And earlier today, I was still on the, just learn from your pain, Luke. Learn from your goddamn pain. But here we are. And I'm sitting back again going, what if I went for Enzo? Crazy stuff. All right. Talking future plans. I mean, Sharpe, do you want to just kind of talk through some of yours? I think yours is the most interesting. Mack is obviously in a position to almost certainly roll. We've talked pretty in depth about my one transfer that I probably should just do and handcuff myself to my desk. But I think yours is interesting. Obviously, you're considering the wild card. would love to see what you like. Have you talk through kind of what you're thinking with your squad?
You want to bring up his team?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
If I can, stop screen, share screen. All right, there we go, baby. Now let's bring up this squad.
Beautiful. Oh, I guess you can't go to the transfer section of my team, can you? That's
brutal. I mean, you could share yours if you have it, but yeah.
Yeah, I got
brutal.
Up here. Let's see what we do. I don't know what I'm gonna click on to be fair, but we might click on something. So
I mean, so meta wise, I just think
bring me to the stage.
Bringing you to the stage. Yes, sir. Oh my God, it's horrendous. Okay.
Wait, what's wrong with it?
No, it looks good now.
Why do you always have the mobile version? I do not understand this.
I also wonder that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, why is it showing?
Oh, is it just half screen? Are you on half screen?
Yeah, I'm on half screen, and I'm sharing a window. I mean, if you need me,
no, you're fine. You're fine. It's lovely. Continue. It's beautiful. You're great.
Well, it's not, but it's okay.
God damn it! No one. All right, fine. Is this better?
No, it actually is not at all. Yeah, go back to what it was.
Just starting shit for no reason.
Okay, but so talking through some of the what would be essential on a wild card right now. I know you sent us over. Honestly, this isn't what I've seen from other folks wild carding, so I appreciate the alternatives. But I've seen you on the Newcastle triple up. You were looking to target a few Palace players. No Liverpool. Yeah, talk to me about I feel like your team isn't too far off. Kind of the same conversation that I was having with Mack around his time. So, and we know how well his wild card went. So maybe I should just shut the fuck up. But curious, how close you feel like you might be.
I don't.
And what the priorities would be.
Yeah, so that's what I just said. That, and I'm not saying I hate against Van Dijk. Honestly, with 0.7 in the bank, I might just go, ooh. See, I like when we do this because this might be what I actually do. And bring him in. Okay. Interesting little play there. Interesting.
Pretty good move.
Yeah, I like that.
Was it just Milenkovic directly to Timber?
It was. Yeah, I feel like I've said it. And I don't think you're wrong, Luke. I don't think I'm incredibly far off by any means of a good team. I think last week showed that. I'll take 76 points. That's fine with me. I'm happy. My defense is just where it's been lacking, as well as goalkeeper situation. I'm so absolutely sick of Sanchez just because he's an idiot. And to be honest, his namesake just tried to assault a delivery driver in Indianapolis. So there's that. The Sanchez name is not a positive one in my brain right now.
That was crazy.
Dude,
what a transition.
Insane. Yeah, sorry. That's
good work. That was impressive.
So I'm pretty anti him. So, and I obviously only have one free transfer because I don't think I had two at one point. That was cool.
Dude, you can just take a hit.
Yeah, I know I could, but for a goalie that feels so tough. Although I would never have to change that goalie again because it would be Mr. Pope.
Pope.
That's really not that bad.
No, dude, their run is unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think you need to waste a transfer on Chelsea player right now.
But they do have a ton of injuries in their back line. That's worth saying.
True.
But they also did just keep Liverpool to one goal. So I'm back to being all right, I think we're overblowing this.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, I could field this team certainly and not be upset about it. If I rolled this out into game week 8, fine. I think as I've been all season, I just feel like I want to be aggressive. And for me, it's getting in at least one more Newcastle player. I'm feeling really high on them. I'm feeling really good about everything they got going on right now. I think they're going to put it together and be solid. So that would be another one. I would also really like to have Saka in here. And that's
I think that one though is interesting. Like I said earlier, you could work your way up to that. You could plan for that in 10 when they play the two promoted sides back to back.
Others for sure could. I have the patience of a 5-year-old. So if I want,
I'm just saying you could roll a couple transfers together. Hear me out, and then you could bring him in.
Hey, that's gonna go just as well as us trying to convince you on Semenyo. So here we are. Yeah, so that would be a priority. I don't like Ollie. I don't like what we have coming up here. He
That's a
tried to
tough
reward us
run.
one. Yeah, I don't like
That's
that
what
at
I'm
all.
saying. Like you could roll it. I don't know if rolling, maybe you take a hit or something, but like you could do 2 moves to get to Saka and they would solve 2 problems. You could drop Ollie down and then bring, I don't know, Ndai up or Mbumo up to Saka.
I mean, I could, sure. Yeah, no, maybe.
I'm not saying you have to do that this week because again, I
I don't
don't
know.
think that Saka's like a priority, but you could probably play Ollie against Tottenham this week and then roll into that maybe the next one or the one after that and make the double move. But again, that would require patience, which
Yeah, I don't know if I have it. I have been less and less convinced, to be honest, to wildcard this week. I do think there is options. I'm not sold on Bumo forever.
I do think he's a nice differential though. Like
Hate
Liverpool
Ndai.
haven't looked great defensively. And so it's like this could be the time where he just, pulls something out of his ass.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I don't even need to necessarily play him this week if I didn't want to. I probably would, but theoretically. I mean, to be honest, the more that we look at this, the more I'm like, I could bench boost. That could be a play. That could be something.
I think if you're thinking about it, it's a good time to get it out of the way. Like if you're looking at it and being like, I actually could, then it's probably a great time to do it.
I mean, the only
last week.
the only one I don't like is Ndai, but I mean, he just proved me wrong last week. But it's City. I mean, that's not great. But everyone else, I'm like, I don't know, could be fine.
The thing with Everton assets this week specifically too is Grealish has been really good for them, and he can't play this week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was thinking the same thing with Dewsbury Hall. I was like, honestly, I'd be fine starting him against City, and then I thought about that and was like, I think they're actually probably going to struggle a bit. But Ndai's on pens. That's what happened last weekend. It's not that he had an amazing game. He's just on pens.
Yeah. No, I mean, fair. I think I came into this with like my game week 8 wild card is just where I was sitting, to be honest with you. And so I'm like, because it was planned, I'm dying on that hill, and I don't know if I need to die on that hill. So the international break will enlighten us more and will enlighten me more on this decision.
This is that I need in my life. That's just.
I just don't think there's a ton of players you're missing. Sorry,
I think from a top level perspective, you're right. I think it's the underlying that I would like to fix. Like Malinga, this made me feel a lot better. But I would like to make him a Leeds player instead, personally, for the foreseeable future. I would like to get rid of Van Dijk. Honestly, I'm indifferent on. I would like to fix this. He makes me mad, and I think I could just make someone better than Watkins. I think Gordon could be interesting in here. I think there's a lot of things that could be interesting.
There's I don't think it's objectively wrong to rip the wildcard button on this. I really don't. Because you do have enough spots in your team, to what you're just saying, that you want to make changes to, that I think it makes sense. It's just this is the style of play thing, actually, because from my perspective, I'm sitting here being like, I want to save it until I feel like there's a big moment, like there's a big shift in the landscape. But that also, I mean, we're 7 weeks in, and that hasn't come. The same thing we knew in game week 1 after Semenyo netted 2 was that Semenyo's good and Liverpool aren't that good and Haaland's good. Those are the things we know, and they haven't changed at all, and everybody else is fucking shit. So I don't know. It could be that doesn't change at all, in which case, or not at all, but you know what I mean, changes minimally, in which case, I don't think attacking it is a bad idea. It is the aggressive play, and it could put you in a better spot to continue going.
I think I almost think that a reason to wildcard this week is because of your aggressive play, because you don't have enough transfers banked to meaningfully impact your team in a large way. You pointed out 5 players that you think are problems in your team, and even if you roll, you can fix 2 of them. Now we could make debates on whether Sanchez is a priority. I was going
to say I do think Sanchez is objectively not a problem, but
right. But there's a lot of players that you could bring in alternatively, like a Burn or a Senesi. You could bring in a Pope. You could bring in a Raya. There's a good team out there that you're missing that you're not going to be able to easily impact. The only thing I would say that maybe would give you pause is you have some great differentials on what I think is going to be a low scoring week. So I don't think you need to rip the Band-Aid off this week. You could always do it in 9 or something, and then still carry your 2 transfers through or something like that. Because like if you look at my team's arguably set up to something like you would wildcard 2, but that's Everton guys versus City or City guys versus Everton, because I have both, and that's actually a tougher game than I think it is on paper. It's Semenyo's versus the Bournemouth guys versus the Palace guys, and that's like going to be a tough game for both of those teams because they're both really good teams. Like you got a lot of differentials this week is the only thing I'm saying. Like you could just do it next week.
And I do think 9 makes good sense because 9 is so think of Palmer, which I know is a player you hate, Sharpe, so maybe it's a bad idea. Also, like he does need to prove he's still the shit. But from 9, so in theory, Palmer could be back at that point just because the thought process is they were going to give him until after this international break to rest. And then Chelsea plays Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds, and Wolves all from the course of 9 through 14. So like really attacking Chelsea hard would be nice, and you could start that in 9. You could also start that this week though. They're playing Forest, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Mac. I think saving it makes sense, and I've been thinking it. You have been in my thoughts when I've been thinking through some of this stuff with regards to like differentials. Like Mbeumo's a player that I would just love to have right now. I would love to be sitting there with him. He's looked really solid, and they're playing Liverpool this week, but Liverpool have looked a little shaky at the back, and he's exactly the type of player who I think would return in that game potentially. So, and like with the Arsenal stuff last week, that was my pitch to you, was like, hey, if you're going to wildcard, do it now so that you don't get burned by Arsenal against West Ham, and you made it through that unscathed. So now I don't think like you have to prioritize Arsenal. Like it's not, their fixtures aren't that amazing right now. It's in 10 that they do Burnley, Sunderland back to back. That's going to look great, but Fulham and Crystal Palace, you could pass on for sure.
I mean, I don't hate the idea of getting rid of the Milinkovic, right? There's no reason to sit on a Forest defender.
No, I'm with the defense, yeah.
You wanted to rip one and then wildcard next week, I think that's perfectly fine, so you don't get hit by another Arsenal defense rise, right? But other than that, like...
I mean, I
think we're making great points, and I'm saying slightly different things, but I think we're both agreeing that it just doesn't seem like the highest upside week.
But this does look nice. I do like this.
It is fun having the shiny toys.
I mean, isn't it nice? It looks real nice.
So you're gonna keep Kudus if you wildcard?
I'm unsure, to be fair, but like he's fun to watch. And
he is pretty integral in that attack. Like I understand it, but the Max point being their fixtures have really dropped.
I know, and they don't put it together frequently enough from the amount of balls that he sends in. But okay, let's play that game. I'm not mad at that game. Okay. So now we got what? We got 6.6 in the bank.
Maybe who's the Brighton guy? Mente.
Oh, I don't hate that. 5.9, I think. He's up to 6. Are they? What do we got? What do we got out of Brighton going for? I mean,
pretty solid. I mean, there's some challenging ones, but for a 6.0 guy, you're not going to play him every game, right? And his fixtures are better than Ndiaye's, I think, who you can also afford.
For sure.
Actually, their fixtures aren't that great. Newcastle and Crystal Palace, 8 and 11.
Yeah, but I think you want to be hopping off the Everton train sooner rather than later because, I mean, you're already doing that in this wild card, but Fulham, from 11, they have Fulham, United, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Forest, Chelsea, Arsenal. It's a crazy run.
Ultimately, the thing that would keep me from doing this is just being like, there's no Liverpool in this. And looking at their fixtures, right now they're playing United, Brentford, Villa, City, which is like decent. And then they go Forest, West Ham, Sunderland. So you're going to have to get to 12 with no Liverpool and then suddenly try to bring in some of the most expensive players in the game. That's the tricky part of this. So it's either you wild card now and then you roll a bunch for a little bit, which is not your strong suit, or you take some aggressive transfers and then wild card in 12 or 13 or something like that when those fixtures swing. I genuinely think Liverpool is at the center of this, like in that sense. You're either committing now and being like, all right, they haven't got it. Like I can take them on for the rest of the year, or not the rest of the year, but for a while now, or not, right? I mean, because you could, if you banked a few transfers, you could still get in like Isak.
For sure.
But
yeah, no, I think I'm developing a lack of faith in my squad, to be honest with you, to have a solid.
You got to do it. Listen to your heart.
I don't know. We'll sit on this for a little bit. I'm sure I'll have 16 other drafts that come to fruition that get sent to you guys and possibly to the Twitter sphere. But I was vaguely listening to everything you guys said while I did this. And I think there were some solid points in there.
This has been so weird. This entire episode, it's been, let's make valid points about Semenyo, and Luke's like, whoop. And when you're at the other, and then they're like, let's make points about wildcarding, and you're like, whoop. It's like, what are we doing here? We all know what we want to do already.
We have trust issues, but the title, I might need to change the title of this to go with your heart. I love that. That's so fun.
I mean, this team looks pretty solid.
That's the thing though. Like, this is the same conversation we were having with Mack. And again, like I think in Mack's case, he was right to wildcard, but it's like,
absolutely it was.
Every time that you wildcard, you're gonna look at the team and be like, damn, that looks great. Same with the free hit. Like, you're gonna look at that and be like, shit, I should do that. So it's less so about, obviously it's gonna look better than what you have now. It's just a question of like, is it that much better to forego the later one? That's really all it is. And again, I think that hinges on, that decision is just, can I roll enough to get to Liverpool later on? And am I comfortable going without them for a little while? And if you are, then yeah, fucking rip it.
Yeah, I think that is what it comes. I think you're right. I think that's a correct thought process. And I go back to something that I brought up a few weeks ago of why not take it earlier? Because you're basically going to get to wild card come game week 16.
Yes, but that doesn't help you for the fixtures going into that.
I know it doesn't, but I have 4 weeks to roll if I wanted to.
Are you going to do that? Here's the thing. If you wild card, you got to be confident in the next couple game weeks and hold your transfers, because everybody who doesn't wild card is getting a leg up on you.
Dude, and this is like, here's the other, let me just pitch you on the other thing really quick, right? You and I both, Sharpe, we're looking at this week against Manchester United as when Liverpool were going to put it back together. So what happens if they go and beat United 4-0?
No. To be fair, I wasn't going to say they were going to put it back together. I think you were very focused on the United thing. I think everyone else that said game week 8 was, which is so fair. I get it. That's fine. What I'm looking for is someone to come out and say, hey, I'm going to be a guy here. I'm him. I'm doing
right. And what if it's like the Salah to Isak connection?
We haven't done it. I have no reason to believe that we're going to do it in the foreseeable future.
Sure.
True. It hasn't happened yet. Like
that, then like, that's what I'm saying. It's all about like your conviction on it. If you're saying like, hey, I don't see us clicking anytime soon, then rip this. But if you're like, we might, then that's where I'd be like, maybe no.
I am pessimistic on it. And so that's where I'm at. That's why I'm here. We'll see. Well, nothing.
That's so funny. I feel like I always have to take you off the Liverpool like mountaintop, but I'm the one sitting here being like, the reason I'm worried about Liverpool is because I'm like, as soon as they click, it's not just going to click on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is also going to get sorted. So I'm like, I'm scared. I'm sitting here waiting, being like, that's going to happen any day now. I don't know when it's going to happen, but suddenly they're going to flip it around. And I'm like, I don't want to fuck that up.
Look, man, the second there is a sign of life, I'm happy to jump on them. But until there is, I don't need to jump on them.
100%. 100%. No, that's why I don't have any Liverpool either. I'm cool with going without them. I'm just trying to like, I'm saving that chip for when that happens.
They're good thoughts. They're really good thoughts. I agree with the logic completely. And for similar reasons, I'm rolling transfers right now.
Yeah. That is the key, Sharpe. Do you think you could roll 2 weeks in a row?
That's the key. It's, can you roll if you wild card this week?
I am currently looking to see if I could successfully play these guys.
What's up with everybody jumping on Bowen? Do you really think that Bowen is a better pick than Joao Pedro? And I'm genuinely curious. This isn't like there's a trap card coming after this.
Honestly, I do. I do think Bowen is a better pick than Joao Pedro. And the reason I say that is Bowen has been the talisman of that team for years now. Like, I don't know what they're going to look like under Nuno. So that's the X value that I don't have.
He gets the Chris Wood treatment.
Sharpe's just in wildcard dreamland right now. He doesn't know what we're talking about.
No, I absolutely do, and I agree. Joao Pedro is going to regress.
Let me pull up my team so Sharpe can continue to iPad kid.
Wait, hold on. No, this is going to have a point. This has a point. Hold on.
No, but to answer your question, yeah, I do, Mac. I do think that Bowen is just going to continue to be that guy. He's shown over the past couple of years that even being a part of a shitty team, he still just accumulates points. So I do think he's better, but I'm not on the same page as Sharpe of thinking that Joao Pedro suddenly shit. Like, I think he's going to turn it around. Again, context. 2 of the last 3 games they've had red cards, and then they just played Liverpool, and he didn't, he wasn't as involved as he should have been.
And Palmer's injured. Palmer's going to come back after the international break.
Right. It's just like all around. I actually don't know if he is. Like, we'll see on that. But
true.
But like, the goal, like you said earlier, Mac, the goals have to come from somewhere. And if I was going to bet on one player, if I said, okay, I think Chelsea over Forest, Sunderland, Tottenham, Wolves, and Burnley are going to score, 10 goals. Like, where am I betting that's going to come from? It's Joao Pedro and it's Fernandez. And maybe even
Joao Pedro is the talisman now because of the Palmer injury. And that was my argument against picking him up on preseason when Palmer was playing. So I agree with you. It's interesting. Bowen hasn't had an incredible turnaround since Nuno took over, but it's still so early. He's been in charge for 2 games, and they played Arsenal in Forest, and he put up 0.6 XG versus Forest.
Jesus.
And that's non-penalty XG, by the way.
How brutal is that to come back, like switch, come from Forest to West Ham and then just destroy Forest that bad? Like, Marinakis has to be shitting a brick. That's so brutal.
It's just such a stupid decision. And I love Ange, but oh my God, is it good not being on his team?
All right, Sharpe. Should we come back to you?
Yeah, I think Joao Pedro is not going to be good. That's my vibe. I think Bowen, as big a hater as I was, I think the coaching change is gonna get them to where they should.
I agree.
I
just don't think the fixtures are amazing as the Pedro fixtures. Oh, they're pretty good. Okay.
I mean,
they're good.
There's one. Good. Yeah, I don't like
it's, that. It's ultimately just that it's a worse team. Like, West Ham's just a worse team, so they're gonna score less goals. That is literally the only thing. Yeah, otherwise, I'm set on Bowen. If Bowen played for if West Ham was a middle tier squad and wasn't what they are, I'd be like, no, I'm actually making the move to Bowen. But
absolute bullshit. I'm calling on that comment.
I don't understand.
Because here's a man that plays for a mid tier team that you
and I'm saying with the fixtures they have Brentford, Leeds, Burnley. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying Semenyo is a bad pick. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's Crystal Palace. Can we agree? Crystal Palace just shut your team down completely. Liverpool, how many millions in that attack? Shut them down. Isak, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, the whole 9. Shut them down. They didn't do a fucking thing. But Semenyo is going to score. Got it. Like, it could be.
If he does.
You know how good this is gonna feel. Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm actually getting the shakes because of my excitement for when that happens, and the text I'm gonna fire off to you.
I still might get him in. That's the thing. I still might, because
you don't.
I think it's a long term.
You don't get him now. You're done. You're fine. You're gonna be the 0.001% that doesn't have him. I'm done with you.
I love it.
All right, sorry. My point to doing everything I was doing, is simply to say that I could very happily do this bench boost next week with the fixture that they have coming up, and I could very happily play every single person in here for 4 weeks and not be concerned about it.
Yeah.
So that was the reason that I was clicking so much and just wanted to be confident in that statement.
I do think only call out I would make on this, in Wildcard 6, the emphasis was on DEFCON defenders, and I will say that you're lacking in that department quite a bit. That's not necessarily the wrong thing, but like Rodon, for example, maybe that's a Sunderland guy, one of the Mukiele or whatever, the Alderete.
He's 4.1 now, though. That's the problem.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't dislike the defense. I'm just looking at that and being is there enough DEFCON guys that you could start every week? I mean, I think the double Arsenal defense, just set it and forget it, never worry about it. So yeah, no, I'm on board. Never mind, I'm on board.
Yeah, I think It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pick who has the best fixture. I think is going to return out of the rest of it.
But you just have to not make transfers for a couple weeks after this if you do this, because
he giggles
and guys don't work out and you need to move.
Giggles mischievously.
A way to do it.
Because I already know I'm going to want to move one of these three probably like right away because I'm not sold on them yet. These are the three that are very weird to me. So I hear you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because...
Yeah, I'm taking over. I'm done with this. This is crazy. This podcast has been probably our most unhinged episode so far.
This is just so off topic.
7 weeks in and we're losing it.
Zoom in a bit, Mac. I can't see a damn thing.
I also hate to say it, but just as a forewarning, volleyball is going to be calling my name quite soon, so I will be hopping off.
That's
all good. I'll run through this quick. So this is the team. The greatest thing about my wild card has been that I still have transfers. I got 3 transfers this week. I don't even necessarily
wait. It goes up that high?
Jesus. For a second, I thought you were being serious because it's so in character. So the craziest thing is that I have 3 transfers, but my team's like not even in a bad spot. I don't think that this week is going to be crazy points-wise for me. Like, I already talked a little bit about my benching conundrum of like, I don't really want to play Fernandes versus Liverpool, but I also don't want to play Anderson versus Arsenal or these Everton guys versus City. Everyone else is fine, but like specifically also having to start these 3 guys just doesn't seem like a pathway to a lot of points. I don't know. I think it's gonna be like a middling week for me. But
I think I hear you on it just in general being kind of a weird week, or not like a down week, I suppose. The only one that I would be interested in is you said with Bruno, it's an if not when. And I know like the money suck thing, we talked about that, but I'm like, if it's an if not when, why not get it done versus Liverpool? I don't know. But that may be forcing a transfer because I don't know exactly where you'd go with that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I have had a thought, and
the triple move.
I'm not sure if I'm super convinced on any of these players, and that is my biggest. Where am I? Am I looking for forwards? That is my biggest wanting to pump the brakes on this move. But what if I did something like this, where I go Saka, Ultramade, and Gordon in for Ndai, and the fixtures are turning for these Everton players in a pretty big way.
Yeah,
I go Ndai out, Gyökeres out, and then I go Bruno out. The only like hesitancy I have for this is like, all right, the Newcastle fixtures are definitely getting better. But Gordon hasn't been entirely impressive since he returned. You know, he only put up 0.15 XG and XA versus a really shit Forest team. So that wasn't like that convincing.
He got pulled, 70 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's like a fitness thing or what, but like Gordon wasn't that convincing. Now I think he's a great player, but it's like, does that translate into fantasy numbers? Who knows?
And you have to bring him in to like, you couldn't just do Saka and Woltemade because you need the money.
Oh no, I could. I have a million transfers that I could make.
And I would just do that. I don't think you need to go into double Newcastle attack. That feels like a lot.
I agree. There's like a million transfers I could make is the thing. Why am I in the forward?
I like the Saka idea though. Like I think Saka just established like, okay, I'm back. Like he just told us I'm back. And I think
his numbers weren't actually amazing in the game and he scored on a pen. Sure. And so the biggest counter argument I have to making these transfers, it feels like very speculative. And it's like, yes, I could jump on these guys early, but they're not necessarily actualizing points. Like Voltramod also scored on a pen, right? Like it wasn't an open play goal. And we already established that Forest put up 3 XG or whatever against, against them. So like if I go Saka, Voltramade, that's pretty solid and it really improves my game week situation.
So this should push you over the edge. Saka put up 0.84 XG, 1.11 XA for a total of just under 2 XG by him or XGI by himself.
But what's the non-penalty XG?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing that right now. But I mean, even 1.11 XA, that's pretty nasty.
No, that's way bigger than I thought. To be honest with you, was
You're
it really
right, though.
that big?
That is probably entirely the pen, the 0.84 xG. So it's probably more the XA. But he was really involved.
No, I'm going to be completely honest. That was a different. I must have just read something wrong because I didn't know it was that big.
Well, and that's sure as shit a lot more than Bruno is going to be putting up week over week. So I think, as a Bruno owner who kind of stuck, I'd be happy to get rid of him if I had the opportunity.
My only counter argument is that so I bring in a Voltramod, and then I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce his name eventually. I bring him in, and
Made.
Maybe
I got it.
I'm not trusting Sharpe on the pronunciation
at all. Coming out of your mouth. If Luke had said it, it would have been refined and cultured. But it's a sideways move. It's an Arsenal player for an Arsenal player, and we know that their fixtures are gonna change.
No, that does feel weird. That does feel weird.
Equal chance of getting on the end of some of those goals, right? And so I'm just like, do I need to make any transfer this week? I do want a.
Well, okay, but what if you just did? What if you didn't take Gyökeres out? What if you brought in Saka and then just took somebody else down? I don't know, one of your defenders or something. I'm trying to make this work in my head. You could do Tarkowski down to Tarkowski doesn't feel it. But yeah, you could Joao Pedro, somebody. It doesn't have to be, because I think that's a great way to get a Liverpool or an Arsenal trip. Oh, you have Raya. Never mind.
I have Raya.
Never mind.
And that's been fine. I have no problems just keeping him,
So never mind. Yeah, okay, I see your point. Yeah, I don't know.
I do want to exit the Everton guys is the thing. I'm not super comfortable having them, nor am I super comfortable having Fernandes. I just don't know if I need to burn 3 transfers and all of a sudden it turns out Bowen is the guy and I didn't bring him in, and my advantage for accruing these transfers is gone. Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to reset myself this week necessarily. I want to have a couple more transfers than everybody else for a little while.
Yeah. No, it is probably a roll, Matt Cleaney. But I could see the argument to get in die out for sure. I think, like I said, I see them struggling this week against City. But yeah, it's just tough. I don't know who you go to. Maybe Sar, but they play Arsenal in 9.
Yeah, the thing is about the Palace guys, as much as I love them this year, they're not the best fixtures. I could take Ndai out and Tarkowski out and get a Burn and
Gordon.
Not even a Gordon because I have 6.9. So it's
you go Enzo.
I did see that. But
3.
Do I want to triple up attack on the mid-price Chelsea guys?
Yeah. Well, hey, you would probably get the goal. I mean,
you'd have it covered off.
If sure. I said they're coming from somewhere and I play all of them, surely I'll get it right.
Dude, can you imagine Cucurella just starts going?
Oh my god.
I mean, the other one I guess is Paqueta. They have nice fixtures coming, so I think he's 5.9.
I looked at Paqueta and he's putting up monster numbers. He's actually been really solid, and apparently he's on pens, which is
he is
kind of crazy. But I don't know. I don't like.
I actually think that could be a play.
Pens are always amazing when they benefit you, but it's so annoying playing 4 pens because as soon as you get him in your team, he never plays. And he got 2, 9, 10, 2, 1, 4, 1. And it's not fair because Nuno took over before Everton. Everton and Arsenal are good. But I don't know. It's a middling run in the long term, and it's an okay run in the short term.
Yeah, he plays for.
I guess you guys were discussing this, but why not just take Bruno to someone? You still have the money. It's not like that money's gonna go anywhere. So take him down to Gordon or whoever,
and then
you don't need to make another transfer.
Yeah,
that makes your team better. Or you could go Tarkowski to Burn as well. Then you have a lot of money in, but you would have 2 transfers next week.
If I play Burn, I could bench Fernandes this week.
Then you could do that too, yeah.
But is that
I think you have the ability.
Would it not make more sense for me to play Fernandes just in the off chance they get a penalty? Is he even on pens anymore?
He shouldn't be. If you have Bumo and Kuna and whoever else at your disposal, I don't understand why you would put someone out there that proves he's.
I agree, dude. I don't know how, but
there was a season where the reason everybody 5 seasons later still puts Fernandes in their team is because his first season in the Prem, he got 15 penalties, and it was nuts. Because that guy can dive like nobody else. He's a swimmer more than a soccer player. and everyone's just been riding that high ever since, me included.
Yeah. No, you're in a tricky spot, Mac, because like I do think the obvious move is just a roll, but I kind of get that like you have 3 transfers and you're like, well, yeah, you know, you don't need that much more, right?
Yeah, and like I'm like, is it more valuable to have 4 in a week, or if like let's say the Liverpool guys come good or something, you know, I'll have 5 and I can switch out half my team.
100%. But if you burn 1 now, then you have 4. Then you know what I mean? Like it's not like you have so many.
I'm leaving us here, but I think I'm gonna part ways with. You can make your team better and save like you won't have to go down to 0 transfers. Right. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it personally. Obviously, though, I mean, I'm the aggressive one. So
Vibes FC, mic drop.
Bruno and Tarkowski just seem like guys where you could make your team better and pocket money.
I don't know about Tarkowski though, but yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, fair. On that note, though, boys, continue. Yes, I do love the pod. All right, peace.
See you, brother.
Well, I thought we were going to be done for sure before we had to leave, but oh well, it's us.
I mean, I think that does cover us off for the most part, though. Like,
yeah,
I think you're in a good spot. You don't have to do too much, and we've obviously covered my transfers ad nauseum. So, yeah, I feel like I agree with you. This is an odd week we're going into, and one where it is encouraging just to roll for the most part. There's no like priority transfers you need to make unless you don't have Semenyo. So yeah.
No, I like the only reason the interesting thing about Sharpe's team is that he's got the most differentials, right? And because I think that if you have a team like mine where a lot of your players are playing each other, like half of my team is playing each other easily. More than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like most of my team is playing each other this week.
Yeah.
It's I'm interested in like getting a differential, right?
I'm
not sure that I'm just a hater on Tarkowski and Everton in general, so I want to get rid of them, even though they've been putting up numbies. I'm going to stare at this all international break.
Well, okay, best fixtures this week then, along those lines. Brentford against West Ham. I don't think there's a good Brentford pick. Burnley against Leeds. Leeds against Burnley. Fuck that. City against Everton. You already have 2 of them. Sunderland against Wolves. Fuck that. Wolves against Sunderland.
Yeah.
So, like, the fixtures just, like, all the promoted sides are playing each other, too. Like, the shitty teams are playing each other. So, it doesn't feel like a super high upside week in that sense. I do still think the Bruno out is a potential move. But the flip side of it is, if he is still on pens, right? Think about a couple weeks ago when he got -1. That could have just as easily been 10, which is crazy to think about, or 12 or whatever the fuck. Like, I hate him. I hate having him. I knew I would hate having him, and I hate him more than I thought. But
I just don't know how convinced I am about the alternatives, and that's unfortunately just the way I felt this entire season. It's like you got a couple picks who are doing well. Some of us refuse to get them, and then you just have all these other guys, and you're looking at your entire team going, it's okay.
And I mean, it's shown in the numbers. Like, this is why my team, 3 of the last like 4 weeks, basically everyone is blanked, except, you know, barring like 1 or 2 players. And that's just the story of the season. So it's easy to be like, okay, well, I have 6 guys who've blanked 2 of the last 3 weeks. Like, I should probably get rid of them, but to who? So yeah, I feel you.
And I don't know. That's the most compelling reason for me not to. Like, the only people I'm confident that I want is a Dan Burn, because I said a couple weeks ago I was going to want him as soon as his fixtures flipped.
Yeah.
And potentially a Vulture model. I'm not entirely convinced by him. You know, Saka could be good, but it's like there's so many question marks on all of these players that I'm like, should I just sit and wait and then impact all of my team once I know more? It just then, if the prices rise because everyone wildcards into them and I'm behind, it's like, shoot. But
yeah.
Oh well.
It's a tricky one. Lots to think about.
2 weeks to stare at this.
Facts. Well, and this all that's worth noting. Like, that's why I haven't. I almost went early on just the Cunha to Semenyo, but then with having this international break, I was like, well, that's dumb, because I should definitely wait to see. You know, if there is some big injury, like, these decisions will be made for you. So it's worth waiting for sure.
It's worth waiting. I agree. It's worth the wait, kids.
All right. So if anybody's hung around for an hour and a half, then we will next week be doing a Newcastle special with a special guest. So hang on for that, and we may talk a little bit more about wild cards as that gets closer, if Sharpe is any closer to that. But yeah, have a good one, guys.
Cool. Peace.
Banana out.